Take a moment to be still, be quiet. Close your eyes. Instead of facing outwards, face inwards. Inwards is a darkness. Inwards is a mystery. Inwards is a not knowing. Actively not knowing. Okay with not knowing. Because all knowing is false. Knowing is false. What do I know? What is light? Do I know what this light is? Some definition? Now I know. What do I know? What is the definition? The light. What is, okay, I have a definition of light. How is the light? Where does it come from? Where does it go? So, my body. What do I know about my body? Not even the tip of the iceberg. The rose. What do I know about a rose? There is no rose. Each rose is unique. Each unique rose is unique every moment. Not even each rose that exists is unique. Each rose that exists is unique. Each moment, from one moment to the next, each rose itself is unique. So, what do I know? Some abstraction, some story. So this false story keeps us from being present with what is. We're living in the false, in some abstraction, some ideal. The ideal will never be. Impossible. So, no matter how hard we think and think and think and think, we can never arrive. So, for a moment, drop thinking. Just a moment. Stop calculating. Stop computing. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stop planning. For 1 second. And immediately you are here. You have arrived. That quiet presence this is the highest state. This is the joy. This is peace. This is love, not the idea. The idea of peace has nothing to do with peace. The explanation, everything, all the rules have nothing to do with love. Looks like this, like feels like that, etc. No, every moment is love. The fire burning is love. The sun shining is love. The rain falling is love. The water flowing is love. The plant growing is love, the plant dying is love. So, be quiet. Why not? We've tried the other way. We've tried thinking. To what avail? So, thinking has its place, but overthinking is a problem, bad habit. So we must replace the thinking, excessive thinking, with awareness. Awareness is the faculty, presence is the state. No? Awareness is a faculty. You have the faculty of awareness. and thinking and remembering and imagining. All these are different faculties. Right? So awareness is different level. So automatically you cultivate awareness, and the thinking it reduces. But there's no way to outthink the thinking. It's not through more rules and pushing and squeezing everything. You're going to win this battle, this wrestling match with the thinking, or with life. So, rest in awareness. At least try it out. Right? It's like they say, if you wash your clothes and then you put them on, it feels good. If you don't ever wash your clothes and wear the same clothes every day, then it's not this fresh feeling. You don't feel fresh. You don't feel right. Difficult to feel at home, at peace, in your dirty clothes, in your dirty bed, dirty sheets. How long you want to stay in the dirty sheets? How many days? How many hours? But what about a dirty mind? Dirty heart? How long? So, yoga means clean your body, heart, and mind. It's reasonable. Clean your teeth. Okay, that's reasonable. I should clean my teeth. Every day, I clean my teeth. I have a toothbrush. I have an electronic one. I have a good toothpaste, whatever. Every day, we clean our teeth. So every day, clean your mind. Now, either you can or you can't. If you can't, then what to do? But if you can and you don't, then it's a different story. So the yogis say you can clean your mind. But in the university and the business and the shops, everything, the politicians, maybe they say you can't clean your mind. So can we clean our minds? We can clean the carpet. We can clean the toilet. We can clean our phone and our computers. Can we clean our minds? Can you clean your mind? Every day we clean our skin. We wash our skin with this soap and chemicals. But is this cleaning your body? What is your body? Is it the reflection you see in the mirror? There are many layers. Gross layers and subtle layers. So, is your mind separate from your body? If you have a problem with your digestion, is that just the physical? Or is it emotional? Is it mental? Body, heart, and mind. Like a garden. You have a garden. You're growing some tomatoes and some zucchini and some eggplant and some daikon and some asparagus and some cabbage and some herbs and some flowers, some garlic. Different things. Some of the plants are healthy, some of the plants are not healthy. What do you do? Or not enough water, what do you do? Maybe you don't know. If you can ignore the garden, you can just ignore the garden and let it go, however it goes. Some things survive, some things don't. Some things thrive, some things don't. But if you're watching the garden, if you spend time in the garden, then for sure you notice what's going on. with love. And so you can take care of the garden. The blood and the hormones and the enzymes and the liquid and the water and the cells and the different systems, what unimaginable. So how to clean? We must clean our bodies, hearts, and minds. It's reasonable that if you clean your house, right? Say you're away at work or on vacation, and then somehow your house is really messy, but when you get home, someone cleans your house. How do you feel coming into a clean house? Coming into a clean bed, coming into clean clothes. How do you feel when it's dirty? So how can you be at home in yourself, at home in this present moment? If this is so dirty like that, then I'm always somewhere else. I don't want to be here. I have to be in the past. I have to be in the future because it's better than here. This is in the mind. This is a wrong understanding. So we have to look carefully and then simply clean up the mess. Then automatically we feel lighter. This lightness is the divine touch, the divinity. When you feel, and you're doing the practice, you feel lightness, like your body is floating, like your heart is very quiet, you're light, your mind is like you're floating, evaporating. This means that you're in tune. When you feel very heavy, like a Sisyphus pushing the rock, right? When your body is heavy, your mind is heavy, the past is heavy, everything is heavy, then out of tune. So take time every day to tune your instrument, to cultivate your garden, to take care of your garden. This is yoga. It's not a show. It's not a performance. Not at all. It's also not a competition. Not with yourself, not with the other, not with the past. It's not an achievement. It's a way of life. It's a rhythm. It's a flow. It's a commitment to this presence. It's a form of respect to the, whatever we call, the universe, nature, the self, the one. But you can't know it. Can't be known. Whatever is known is false. So, what a relief. You can't know because you are that. There's only that. That one can't know itself. That which is beyond mind can't be known. So just relax. Relax your body, relax your heart, relax your mind, just for a second. All the stress, all the worries, the problems are waiting just outside the gate. I promise. So that means that you can be free for a moment, because they're there. You can pick them up immediately. But there's a depth. Be at that deep level, not on the surface. Like the ocean. On the surface of the ocean are the waves. Only on the surface. If you go deeper, then no waves. Just a current. You go deeper, deeper, nothing. So all your thoughts are on the surface of your mind. All the thoughts of all the 8 billion, 9 billion people living all at once, only on the surface. The words are only on the surface of existence. So, deep sea diving. Ignore the words and settle into deeper stillness. deeper presence. This is awareness. Awareness is not words. Awareness is a kind of a listening, an expansive, subtle receptivity, openness. Instead of closed, we're always closed. Ego is closed. Ego is a contraction. Mind is contracting around this ego, I. My family, my ideas, my opinion, my pain, my joy, everything, me, my, this is a contraction. Our emotions contraction, our body contraction, ego. So awareness is not ego state. Thinking is ego state. Awareness is the self, soul state. So awareness is an expansive presence and listening, not focused on any specific one thing, but dissolved, absorbed. This is knowing through being. This is to know the flower, is to be in the presence with the flower. That's the knowing, is being. The oneness. That's the namaste. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha, ya devi sarva bhuteshu, shantirupina samdhita, namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Yoga. Yoga, 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 yoga. Yoga has become a silly word. What is yoga? What is yoga? Time for yoga. Let's do yoga. Wholeness, oneness, a state of being. Yoga is a state of being. Yoga is the oneness being. Then yoga, secondary, is the path for arriving at that state. Of course, we can't really arrive because the nature, that's the nature, but this is already within duality. Yoga is beyond duality, but within duality, there's a path. I'm here and I need to get there. We think like that. But then in the end, we see that the path is from here to here, not from here to there. Because there is illusion. There is a false. Here to here. How to get from here to here. That's what Papaji used to say. What will you take? An airplane? A bicycle? How fast can you get from here to here? So, the state and this path. There are 4 major paths. Doesn't matter. Of the 4, one of the many practices we're doing to purify and awaken all these channels is this movement, asana. Now this is also called yoga. Now we're way down the ladder. So now this approach, there are different styles or flavors, like whatever, vinyasa or bikram, like this. So now we're very far down. This is just a kind of a particular recipe that someone concocted for this one part of a whole infinite science and art of living, but somehow separated from the rest. Absurd, right? It's absurd. So be in a state of yoga. You don't need to do yoga. Yoga means every moment. Every moment in this presence and awareness. Like you play a sport. What sport do you play? Football. And when you're playing, you're there, you're present, you're focused. If you're thinking about the last game, then you're out of it. If you're thinking about the next game, you're out of it. If you're thinking about your wife, also you're out of it. But when you're in the game, what it feels like to be in the game, then you're in it. So that same way, you're in the life 24 hours. You're in it. Flowing. No, this is a flow state. But in order to attain that high level of mastery in any sport, gymnastics, football, billiards, what is required, right? Even for a virtuoso in some musical instrument or some art, it requires years and years of dedicated practice, repetitive, dedicated practice. Breaking down the very fundamental aspects of that sport or art, and again and again and again and again until it becomes unconscious, subconscious, natural. Without that training, impossible. Even the virtuoso is going through that training. Even the very, very, very high level, people born with some innate talents still undergo this intensive, repetitive training in order to attain that level of mastery. And so, the sport, how many hours you play per week? How many hours football? No? At best, at most, what? 15, 20, maybe? That'd be a lot for most of us. For musician, classical musician, for example, it's my background. Some people practicing 4 or 5 hours a day. Then you're playing with the orchestra, how many hours a week? So still you're getting, 30, 40 hours a week. But how many hours a week are you playing your life? How many hours per day? 24 times 7, right? So, any training that you do, any improvement that you make in your skillfulness in how you handle this, the basic functioning of your body, heart, and mind, is going to influence your life every moment of every day, waking and sleeping, your relationships with yourself, with others, your creativity, your aliveness, everything. The breathing will shift everything. Like a sports player. When you have a proper training, and then you go through that process, then that's the whole thing, actually. That is it. That's it. So, in the same way, we can apply this to this sport, this presence. Cultivating presence. To achieve that level of presence, you have to be in shape. Say you're out of shape and your friend invites you to go play football. Right? And so you get on the field and you start running around. How do you feel? You feel like it's torture. You feel the cramps and pains, you want to throw up, you can't breathe, like that. Right? You go to play the sport, which should be fun. Everyone else is having a great time. They're running around and it feels great, smiling and excited. What's the difference? Same game. The same exact game at the same exact time. But there's a difference. One is in shape, one is out of shape. So if you're in shape, then the sport is a joy. If you're out of shape, then it's a kind of torture. So, yoga means stay in shape for your life, physically, emotionally, mentally. And then worry about the rest later, right? It's great. Circus tricks, gymnastics, acrobatics, I love it, right? I do it. I was trained as a dancer, Buto, contact improvisation. I love movement and dance. But more important is establishing this state of wholeness and peace in your body, heart, and mind. Then afterwards, you can go chase any rainbows. We're totally missing the essential. So this simple practice, daily practice for cleaning your body, heart, and mind, and then nourishing, like a garden, nourishing, awakening. So many secrets, so many treasures inside, so many layers. And that's the journey, that's the adventure. Okay. Questions? Question 1. What is the difference between awareness and thinking? Good. Yeah. So thinking we know very well. It's like crunching. It's like, I need to squeeze all the juice and get the answer. Right? Actually, what we want is not the answer. What we want is to get what we want and to avoid what we don't want. So thinking is essentially, right, used at the helm of our desire. We have desire. I want this. And so all of a sudden we start thinking how to get it. Or I have this, I don't want to lose it. I'm thinking how I'm not going to lose it. So this is fear-based thinking. This is mind. It's ego. It's desire. Thinking. Thinking is with words and concepts and comparing and contrasting, right? Analyzing. All of this is thinking. It's the mind. It's the one that just keeps going and never stops. Like a motor, it heats up and then and it's a habit. We have a habit of continually thinking. And a lot of it is mechanical. Some thinking is necessary. Some very basic one, very short, but then immediately you can drop it. Requires very little. We have to again think, oh, how to walk and where to go, what to do. No. We're wasting probably 70 to 80% of our energy with completely unnecessary thinking. Your thinking, if you reduce your thinking itself will become more focused, more efficient, more creative, more powerful. 100%. This is true. There's many great books by Swami Shivananda about the mind and working with the mind and the different layers and aspects of the mind. In the Sanatana Dharma, in the eternal wisdom, which has no country, no religion, no time, they explain very clearly the anatomy of the mind and the functionings of the mind. And so we can know that. But the thinking is way too much thinking, also too much talking. These are connected. Too much listening also to words, to language. Right? And it creates continual disturbance in the mind. Because how can you digest all of that? It's like you eat so much food. How can you digest it? We have too much food anyway. We're eating too much. We can't digest. So you have indigestion, constipation, bloating, gas, right? Just not feeling good. Wake up heavy. Daytime heavy, nighttime heavy. It can be. I'm not saying everyone, no. But it happens. Even to me, it happens. This is life. This is especially our modern world where food is now pleasure. Food is poison. It's not medicine. It's not no respect. No respect for the mother. So, thinking. Too much talking, too much listening. So awareness is completely different level. Awareness is like when you're like hiking in the mountain and you see this and your mind stops and you forget about time, you forget about eating, you forget about sleeping, you forget about everything. But that's a peak awareness. That awareness every moment, ordinary moment, that same awareness. If we could see all these infinite layers of existence, all these billions of years that are coexisting, and it can help. You eat mushrooms, it'll help you to see that. It's true. There's medicine. We need this. We need this because we're so fucking disconnected. You know? And so if you're really constipated, you need some medicine. They've got that. There's different plants you eat. Senna, different plants you eat. You have a headache because your blood's not flowing properly, different plants you can eat. You have a whatever, infection or skin thing, there's a different plant for that. Now your ego's tied in a knot and you're stuck spinning in the same shit, disconnected from yourself and life. So they have medicine for that. So soma, but whatever, I'm just touching on this. You can see it because it's there. And so this is awareness. Like thinking is like this, like cutting. You take a knife and you cut everything into pieces, right? You want to think love, so you take that person and you hack them up in little pieces. Or you take peace. I want to know peace, so you take peace and you cut it. And what about this and that and this and that? You just keep cutting it as small as it can get. So what happens when it gets really small? At the very, very small level, the subatomic level. No, at the finest level, the two meet. But in the meantime, we must thought and awareness meet at the most finest level of thought. Because Einstein knew this. All the great thinkers, Buckminster Fuller, all these Western thinkers, in India and in many places, Tibet, also in the native, Australia, there's been continual understanding of the awareness. So awareness, we have to train that faculty because now we've given so much importance to thinking because that's what we were told. Our whole education system is now about not really education. Some kind of conditioning, thinking, and also this idea that the goal is just over there, just a little further, just keep going. You're going to make it. First this, then that one, then in college, and then the job, and then the money, and then this, and that, and then just around the corner, the goal is there. So we were given this idea that now is not enough, something's missing, and the goal is over there. So in this system, there's no way to win. In this system, you always lose. It's like the lottery or something like that. But we're keeping the hope, so we keep going. Just a little more, just a little harder. Try just a little harder. Do it right. So awareness. Awareness is now. Now. What about now? Yeah, but I have to do this and that, but what about now? But before it was this and this and that, and then that. What about now? This is what we mean a deep presence, radical aliveness. I heard that a few weeks ago somewhere. We have so many, but this and that, and then the war over here, and then my parents this, but what about now? If it's not now, then it's never. There's only two. If it's not now, where else, when will it be? Because there's only now. Wherever you go is now, wherever you are is here. But somehow we're always there. This is the mind. Thinking is always there, over there. But awareness is here, always here, only here. So thinking is control. Awareness is surrender. To get the best deal, we're thinking, why? Why do we want to know? Why do we want to know anything? So we can get the best deal. We don't really want to know the truth. Just enough so that we can win. Every time. How does one let go? So the ego can't let go, right? By its nature. And so only when you stop identifying with the ego, shift your attention from the ego to the self, to the oneness, through awareness. Right? You see this habit of thinking, at the center of thinking is I, me. Me. Right? At the center of your thinking since the beginning has been your me, this me. And so even our altruistic ideas about saving the world is about me. It's about me. It makes me feel good because I'm a good person and this and that. We have so many big ideas. Everything is orbiting around me, I. And so the I can't let go. So in this state of awareness, everything is it's like there's nothing to let go of. Because if you were to let go, you'd have to let go of everything that's ever existed everywhere. right? That's the thing. It's like if you don't let go, instead take on everything at once. Take on everything that you've ever thought or done or felt, and that everyone else on the planet. Take on all the thoughts of every ant and mouse and moose and goose and everything at once. Every fear and every joy and everything of every tree and moss and everything. So there's two ways to go beyond the ego. One is you dilute it with the everythingness of everything, which is what we mean by present moment. Present moment is not like this room and what I see. Present moment means everything everywhere at once. Everything that's always been everywhere at once that's that flow. If we're in time, then the flow of the everything. If we're out of time, then the beingness of the everything. That's a present moment. It has nothing to do with I. Present moment, there's no I. And so, only in that presence where there's everything or nothing, then the letting go, there's actually no one to let go. In order to let go, there has to be someone who can let go of it. So we have to see that everything is in our mind. Because what we need to let go of? Something in the past. So who has that? Where is it? You're the only one who can see it. No one else can see it. So how can you let go of something that's imaginary? So it's a little bit, we have to go a little bit in this circle. But our whole concept of ourself is imaginary. So the letting go, otherwise it's like, oh, I gotta let go, and it becomes another holding on. It becomes another attachment. Now we're attached to letting go. It's very tricky. You see, that's why I'm trying to stress the importance of the daily cleaning, because you can't understand it. It's not to be understood. Life is not to be understood, to be lived. What is prana, and how can I experience it? So prana is the Sanskrit word, beautiful word, for the life force. The sun shining is prana. In the sunlight, there's the prana. The burning is prana. The heat is prana. Your blood is prana. Your breath is prana. The water flowing is prana. The plant growing, the energy moving in the plant growing is prana. Prana is the dance of life. In the minerals, there's a prana. The stars, there's a prana that's dancing, tingling. If you look at the tops of the trees or by the waterfall and you unfocus your eyes, you can see these little twinkling, flashing lights. This is prana. The prana is the juices that form in your saliva when making love. This is prana. And prana is everything. The dance of life is prana. The fire burning is prana. The light shining is prana. What isn't prana, really? What isn't prana? So, and when we talk about the bodies, so I've been talking this body, heart, and mind. But we have what's called panchakosha, which means the 5 bodies, or 5 sheaths. Right? We have first what's called annamaya kosha, is the meat body, the food body. That's this thing. All the bones and pus and blood and all the guts, everything, is what's called the annamaya kosha. Right? The meat body, first body, grossest level, means dense. Gross means dense, in terms of the densification of matter and light. Second level is the pranamaya kosha, the energy body, vital body. This is all these juices flowing, everything, all this is the pranamaya kosha. Then we have manomaya kosha, is the mental body. Mental body is all the mechanical processes of mind. All the organization and functioning of the organism. Mind is not only in human, mind is in the plant. The plant is organized perfectly. The growing and this, everything of the plant is, the mind is active in the cell of the plant, in the growth of in everything. So, manomaya kosha, mind body. Then, 4th level, vijnanamaya kosha, means this like a wisdom body. This, most people are functioning from the mechanical mind, or the desire mind, the pranamaya kosha and manomaya kosha. But this next level is like buddhi. Buddha is, there's a deeper level of mind. The non-mechanical mind is a kind of wisdom, creativity, in-tuneness, intuition. We have to train that faculty also. This is getting closer to awareness. Anandamaya kosha. The fifth body they call the bliss body. The highest state is the bliss. What is bliss? Bliss is not happiness, or what we think of happiness actually is also not happiness. What we think of happiness is like we get what we want and we feel excited. It's like a kind of intoxication. It's like you eat candy and you feel energized, but that's not really energy. In the same way, when you get what you want, then you get a little high, a little rush. That's not happiness. That's just a momentary intoxication. Happiness is a state of deep peace and contentment from not wanting, from experiencing that wholeness. Then this is a happiness. And so bliss is something is when, actually you might know bliss because maybe you've taken ecstasy before or MDMA. And it's like this flood where you're completely transported beyond your ego self, and you experience these waves of light and warmth, and you're just dissolving into the infinite whatever, something like that. Anyway, and so you can't touch that with your thoughts. So Anandamaya kosha. Anandamaya kosha. And so awareness is the gateway to that state of ananda, bliss. Why should I let go of my past? Do I not learn from my past, and isn't this useful? Yeah. So when you eat the food, then immediately you have to digest it. If you don't, then that food is going to turn into poison. It's going to turn into bad things, bacteria and gas. You digest the food, most of the food is waste. Like what? 90%, 95%. The only small part of the essence, then you take that and that becomes you. You've integrated it. You've digested it. It's part of you now. Each moment you carry that with you, subconsciously, unconsciously. It's become part of your makeup. The fabric of your being is now composed of the essence of that meal that you ate, if you digest it, ideally. Right? So the same. And if you digest that meal, but now the next day all you can do is think about that meal. And the day after that also, you're only thinking about that meal. You can never even enjoy the meal you're eating because you can only think about that other meal that you already ate. So then what? So the point is, you have a life experience. You have to be able to digest it. When you really digest it, most of that life experience is the waste. You keep the essence, that essence becomes you. So every decision, every thought, everything is that infused with that because it's become part of your programming, part of yourself. It is yourself. But if you're always stuck in that, then how will you continue? How will you be able to appreciate the meal that's to be eaten now? Now, this doesn't mean we become like a bird with the head in the sand. So at times the past is arising. Beautiful. Beautiful to see a picture and remember. But you're always living in that, you're reliving that, then there's some problem. Where are you running away from right now to go somewhere else? It's coming naturally, okay, beautiful. We're not ignoring anything. But we're focused on the now, because the game is now. You're playing right now the basketball, and then you're gonna get hit in the head with the ball if you're focused on over there. So if the game is over, then it's fine. Do what you want. If the game's still on, then you better pay attention. Then sometimes the past is arising. It's not a problem. We're not cutting our arms off. Right? But we don't need to be continually flailing our arms all the time. We have the control, so we can bring our arms down. When we need the arm, we use the arm, like this. We don't need the arm, we put it down. You can't see, but with your mind, it's like this, like flailing like a fish out of water. For what? In the name of thought, in the name of the past. It's crazy. We have to see. We don't, we haven't been taught. Like if you never practice a polo, you never get on a horse and you swing that thing, then it's really crazy. You can never do it. You can't even imagine how to do that. But then if you train, and you understand how to move, then you can do it. So in the same way, we've never been told to stop thinking. We've been told, think more, try harder, go faster, do more, get more. So now I'm saying, not me, but the yogis are saying that the goal is not over there. The goal is here. If we call it a goal, and it's not needed like this, but that the life is here. Its life is not over there. So we have to see. If it's reasonable, then we can experiment and know for ourselves. If it's not reasonable, then just forget it. It doesn't matter. Crazy American. How do you move on when you still desire the past? Yeah, you have to see that it's empty. Whatever your idea of the past is like, it's a graveyard. You're dancing with the bones. Right? Whatever our idea of the past is not the past. What do I know of the past? If the idea of what happened to me, I pick and choose a few little salient, like a resume even. I don't experience the past. I can't see exactly everything everyone was doing or what I was thinking or feeling or what happened. I have some distorted, usually negative, like synopsis of something once upon a time. That's the past. What's that? The past means everything, everywhere, all the time. I don't even know. I don't even know what's now. How am I going to know the past? So whatever past I have is whatever I select to compose that of. First of all, it's unique to myself. Nobody else can see that or know that, and nobody else is sharing that. Even my brother or someone, my wife, anyone who's with me, all day, it's completely, not even like overlapping. It's like it's like from one dream to the next. The gap is infinite. So we have to see clearly that whatever desire about the past is not. The desire it means that we're not embracing the present. Solution, embrace the present. And embracing the present, if the past arises, great. If it doesn't, great. For sure, the life is here and now. For sure it is. Where else is it? In the past? What is the past? The past is these few little idea memories that I have about something once upon a time. Is that the past? I just came back from India. It's the Kali Yuga time, so we have to talk sharply, because now everywhere you go for yoga, what are they going to tell you? What is yoga therapy? Is that what you're doing here? I have a dear friend and collaborator, Rachel Bilski. She came here first time 10 years ago, and then became a teacher, and then became a yoga therapist. And so her yoga therapy training was 3 years, and then she had to do all of these like case studies, like with full write-ups and stuff like that. And then she'd been, managing the aspects of the program, and then an NGO dealing with yoga therapy and PTSD, mental health, working with the government in the UK and all of this. And finally, it hit me. I said, you're not a yoga therapist. You're a therapist that uses yoga. Right? The same like you have an art therapist. That's a therapist. That's a therapist. It's not a yoga teacher. Right? Even I had this confusion. Right? A music therapist is not a music teacher. A music therapist is a therapist that uses the music for the therapy. So a real yoga therapist is not a yoga teacher. It's someone who's trained as a therapist that uses the modalities of the holistic science and art of yoga in order to undergo that individualized personal therapy. Okay. Now, people use the word yoga therapy to mean a more, holistic approach to yoga in general. But that's something that, and so I saw that, and she said, "Oh, you're right. It's true. I think you understand what I'm saying." And so no, not doing yoga therapy. I think this is just the fundamental life education. It's a kind of, it's yoga in the sense of that it's been shared for thousands of years as a map or a process to bring people back home into themselves. This is what we call awakening. No, Center for Awakening, that's what it is. Yeah, sorry. It took me 14, 15 years to get here. When I first had the insight, the realization to set up the center, it happened in 2010. It must have been like November or something. And I was doing a Vipassana retreat with these 3 monks in their 80s. And we would get locked in the pagoda every day for like 8 hours, 10 hours, and they would just chant the whole time. And that was it. Like, I had no idea. And I would just sit there. And I was just coming from India. I've been living with my teachers. I had done a Vipassana Goenka style in 2007. So I had no idea what was going on. But I was just going with it. And so on the 5th day, the final day, when they unlocked the Vihya, the pagoda, I stepped out. And this pagoda was built on the side of one of these lakes that they built at the temple times. So this was an ancient pagoda, 1,000 years old, but it was on the banks of this massive reservoir, like perched on top. It's really beautiful. Wat Swaramiyat. And the sky was really clear, and it was like, set up a center for awakening. And I was like, oh my God. I had never thought about that. And I never had any money. I didn't have any money. And I didn't have any intention of staying in Cambodia. And so here we are, 15 years later, and 14 years later, and I can confirm, a center for awakening. So it's a kind of awakening. This is a process. This is the process of the yogis too, and it would seem like these temples, this land where we are is what we call like a dharma kshetra, means a power spot. And so there's some kind of fusion that's happening with that too. Okay, 5 questions, 50 seconds. How can you move on after all your expectations are broken? That's the only way to move on. Only way to move on. How do asanas influence prana? Really, what we consider asana is pranayama. The asana themselves is pranayama. Don't think about your body. It doesn't matter. The body, if you're able to control the prana, your body will be completely controlled. Think of the sitting forward bend. This is a pranayama. In this pranayama, which pranas are active? Which organs are getting charged? Which chemicals are moving? But even that, no need to understand the asana. You just need to experience it again and again, and deeper. Even you're not experiencing the asana. You're experiencing yourself through the asana. This is experience of yourself. Asana is experience of yourself. So don't get caught in the asana. It's like circus tricks. You don't need that. You can do it, and it's beautiful. Right? I don't mean any offense, but not the point. The point is yourself, not the asana. How do I calm down my ego? So I think before calming the ego, this, I like to quote it because it struck me very deeply. I think everybody knows the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan. He's a very beautiful man from Mexico, and he works with these dogs. Have you seen this? Do people know this, the dog whisperer? No? Nobody knows the dog whisperer. Some people do, for sure. You guys know the dog whisperer. And so anyway, he rehabilitates these. He's got like a TV show on PBS for like 20 years. He rehabilitates these dogs, like really, really crazy dogs, like wild dogs, all kinds of cases, and somebody managed to do it. And one of the things he said is that before working with the dog, no matter what they have going on, right, is that, I mean, mostly, right, is that he'll put them on one of these doggy treadmills and just have them run to release energy. Because of the lifestyle, they're trapped now in the house, apartment, whatever. And so what about us? We're so stuck. We're not living, we're not primal expressions of ourselves. We're not, how do we look? You look at your body and your behavior. You're like an animal in the zoo, like a caged animal. So we want to calm down the ego. First, we gotta let out some fire. You're sitting on like Osho said, you're sitting on a pile of fireworks and you want to be calm. No, he had them doing dynamic. He had them doing all these intensive meditations, shouting and jumping and screaming, and let it out. Play some sports, you know, do all these things. So to calm the ego, first you have to move the energy. How do you forgive someone but also have boundaries not to see them? What if this person is in your community and it feels isolating for you to have this boundary? Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good question. So the forgiving them is not for them. It's not about them. The forgiving them means that in your heart, in your space, you no longer allow their energy to control you or affect you. Right? And so part of that is boundaries. For that, the boundaries are needed. Of course, the boundaries are healthy. We need the boundaries. And we have to decide. Community is tricky, right? But is it more isolating to have a boundary and to be in your power, or to allow someone from something they did in the past to control you? You know, like that. You have to see that the forgiveness is not for the other. It's for oneself. It's cleaning yourself. It's a decision like, okay, I'm not going to keep this stain inside of me. I don't like that. Whatever. It doesn't mean that you accept what they're doing is right or anything, or that anything about in the future that you continue to, you develop a relationship with that person. It has nothing to do with that. It means that you no longer will tolerate that whatever they did, and it's not even like that often, but whatever has happened is no longer part of your story, right? And so the boundaries are essential. Boundaries is a whole other topic, but definitely to be in your power, you have to know your yes and your no, and you have to be clear and to express yourself, all these things. So boundaries are always, in the long run, the boundaries are always essential. In the short term also. What is the difference between religion and spirituality? Gurus, are they religious or spiritual? Why rituals? Oh gosh. Can I do that one in some seconds? Okay, I can do it. Initially, there was no difference. Religion is religare, to reconnect. We're connecting the self with the ego and the whole. The one with this reconnection, that which is joining or bridging. Like yoga, it's bridging the soul, Atman and Paramatman. But in the modern world, religion is essentially like politics. Right? These big religions are like politics. It's us and them. It's my team. My team is better. And so there's a lot of control. It's mostly control. Dogma. Right? All this. Where the spirituality is the mystics. The mystics. All the yogis. Buddha was a mystic. Buddha had no religion. Buddha was not Buddhist. Jesus was not Christian. Definitely not. Ever. And they didn't want any of that. Right? And so the mystics is the living. They're living the truth. The other people are just talking about it and the rules. Take these rules. Act like this. Do like that. That's religion. Right? Spirituality is a freedom. Spirituality is a aliveness. Is a discovery. Is an adventure. And so the yogis, guru is a different topic. But the ones who have touched that depth of truth and aliveness and etc., are spiritual, but then after they leave, then they make some organization and control people, that becomes religion. And why rituals? That's a separate question. Why rituals? We need the rituals to stay connected with life because we're so disconnected. Everything is so profane. Everything is, there's no depth. We have no sense of sacredness. We don't take anything, we're so, and so this way of doing some offering, having some rhythm, some ritual offering, what are we offering? Fire, the incense, the air, the smoke. We're offering the flower, the space. We're offering the powders. Right. So these are ways of remembering and bringing that divine essence into our life. The same. We do the rituals. You have the ritual. You have the Valentine's Day. You have Christmas. Here's not ritual time. Birthdays or something. Right. Why? Why do we have these rituals? To commemorate, to honor, but these spiritual or religious rituals, right, can help us stay connected with the sacred, with something bigger, something like this. But when it becomes, again, this kind of orthodoxy and this fundamentalism and this fanaticism and all of these kinds of things, right, then we're asking for trouble. But that's the thing, it's Kali Yuga. Right, but certain rituals, like your bathing rituals, these are important. You brush your teeth, you wash your hair, you take a shower. This is a ritual. Right? And that's why we're saying yoga should be like this. You clean your body, heart, and mind every day. Rituals. Take a moment to be quiet, close your eyes, drop all the thoughts, all of them at once, look up. Like you're floating. Now breathe slowly, smoothly. And you get very quiet, so quiet that you forget. Your body becomes very light, like it's floating. Your mind is also like suspended above your head. To be present is natural. This presence is the remedy for all your problems.